An interruption there. All right. Oh, okay. So the House has more committees. If you look at the membership between 12 and 57 members, and that should actually be 13. It should be an odd number. Okay. Each member of the House has to serve on one committee. Okay, at least one. Now, if you look at the bottom of the page, on 77, you can see which committees our people are on. Okay. So in the Senate, you're going to have to serve on more than one committee. Okay, on these standing committees. That means they're permanent. Okay. Now, if you control the House like the Democrats do, you're going to have more members on each committee than Republicans. Yes? And very importantly, guys, the chairperson of each committee will be of the majority party. So in the Senate right now, the Republicans, every committee chairperson is a Republican. In the House, every chair of each committee is a Democrat. And they always have more people, okay, usually proportionally, okay, to the percentage that they control in Congress. Since these are narrow majorities, you're probably looking at one or two more members for the majority on each committee, okay? These committees do most of the work, okay? They have hearings, reviews, etc. How a bill becomes a law, we'll talk about the role of these committees. They're very important in that. But just looking at these, so there's agriculture in both houses, appropriations, if you see that, appropriation, anytime you hear that, it means funding, appropriating money, funding, okay? Banking, budget, commerce, House oversight, ways and means on the House side, that means ways and means to pay for things, taxes, okay? Go over to the Senate, they're a little bit different. You have Indian Affairs over there, Veterans Affairs in both, Budget Committee. They're doing a great job. Okay, so these committees generally stay the same. Every now and then they'll like cancel one and create a new one and so forth. Okay. Then guess what? Underneath the committees are subcommittees. Now, there's about 175 of these in Congress, okay? So these are all standing committees. All standing has various subcommittees. So on agriculture, you might have a subcommittee on something like pesticides, insecticides, that sort of thing, or imports and exports of agricultural goods. Okay, so you could have several standing committees under the Agriculture Committee, okay? Now, this is where members are going to serve on several subcommittees. Okay, because there's so many of these committees. This is where our members of Congress start to become experts in certain areas of legislation, okay? And these committees all have staff members. So if you guys go to K-State and study horticulture, okay, you could actually apply for a job working for the Agriculture Committee. This would be a non-political position where you would advise members of Congress on legislation, or even draft and write the legislation for them, because you're an expert, they're not. Does that make sense? So these committees have staff members, okay? And you have to serve on several of these. Okay, yeah.
Do they have chairs for this subcommittee?
Yes, they do have chairs. Yes.
How many people would you say are in this?
It's usually, it's a little bit smaller number, but you're going to have, you're probably going to have no fewer than, say, 11, 13, something like that. The Senate subcommittee is probably smaller. Okay, then occasionally they'll create a select committee, okay? And now they even have permanent select committees. Typically, select committees are temporary. So special groups set up for a specific purpose, okay? Like the 9/11 Commission was set up to find out what went wrong on 9/11, okay? You have the Watergate Special Committee, okay, or Select Committee on Watergate. And then they compile a bunch of information and then make it public, okay, say what went wrong. So you can actually purchase online the subcommittee findings of Watergate and the 9/11. You can see what their findings were. Okay. Then you have joint committees, joint meaning together, House and Senate. Okay. These tend to be more clerical in nature, not political. So things like the printing office for Congress, I mean, that's not really a political thing. Library of Congress, okay? And these report both to the House and Senate, and they're just, you know, hey, we need to look at changing something, we're fixing something, they work together, okay? And then conference committee, which is a big part of how a bill becomes a law that I'll talk about tomorrow, okay? Then we're gonna break down the House and Senate and the differences, okay? That went way too fast.
How do they